breastfeeding.
At a certain point, can you tell me where the conversation started? Juan is someone that we're looking at.
Well, I actually think it started right at the beginning.
Put this into perspective for this franchise. The Mets to go out and land a generational talent.
What ultimately led the Mets to get to a place that others would not get?
The history reverberations here through the Met franchise. You won't be able to comprehend them, I think, for a little while here. That's how enormous this is.
Get to a day like this, it takes a lot of effort on the part of a lot of different people. What is a special day for our organization?
It's a huge day for the Mets. I'm excited by the Mets' future.
The ability to keep winning, to keep growing a team.
It's real. Wow. What was that negotiation like?
Players want to be a family-friendly place.
It takes a lot of effort on the part of a lot of different people for their persistence and unwavering commitment to this pursuit.
Juan, first of all, congratulations. You guys were just talking about all the information that came through. What, at the end of the day, pushed the Mets over the top? Why did you choose the Mets?
When embarking on a journey, there's always a genesis.
Hit the lights. Who's that guy? Who's that guy, huh? That's a good-looking guy right there.
A place where the groundwork is laid when pursuing something special.
Saw it all last year, and it's still massive. And we got a flag. Jeez. That's sick, man. They got the lights, right? Yeah, they got the lights going good now. They replaced all those?
They replaced them with LEDs so we can do light shows with them and stuff like that.
That's sick. In New York City, you should have something that's like, this is the show, man. Like, this is the place to be. This is playoff baseball.
And sometimes the journey can be met with resistance because the path to excellence is never a straight line.
Number one, they're just pathetic. And number two, they're boring.
This team is not a postseason team.
Every Met fan has arrived into Panic City.
We were all kind of letting the pressure of succeeding in New York get to us, and nobody's expecting anything of us right now because we were so far down and out. So we need to get back to having fun, and we need to go out there and try and just take it one game at a time.
We got to a point in our season that we were so low that we had to look at each other in the eyes and look at yourself in the mirror and say, do I really want to do this? Am I giving everything I got to be successful? Then maybe they should start holding each other accountable.
Well, it has been a miserable turn of events for the Mets.
I remember that a lot of these players hadn't played with each other. And it takes a while for people to feel comfortable in New York and start to bond as a team.
Frustration is high right now with this club.
I guess when everything kind of hit the fan, when that pitcher threw his glove in and they had the team meeting, and I think that kind of galvanized the team.
Whoa! Lopez responds by tossing his glove up over the netting.
Many of the stories revolve around the players-only meeting, but it really wasn't a meeting. I think it was accountability.
Famous team meeting that Lindor called, but I'm going to go back and say that it doesn't necessarily have to be what they said on that meeting. It was just the follow-up and, with their actions.
A lot of players talk, a lot of knowledge was dropped. Now we just got to put it together.
4-hit game for Francisco Lindor. Game is over. Reed Garrett gets the final 3 out.
Whether it was the meeting that we had, the team dinners, or the conversations that Mandy had, getting punched in the mouth, it definitely helped us to say, let's go to where we got to go to in order for us to be successful.
I think the biggest catalyst over the course of the year was definitely London. I think London was a huge bonding experience for everybody.
The
MLB World Tour continues for the third time.
No doubt the turning point was when the boys saw me in London.
Castellanos' bat explodes. Are they going to get the runner at home? They're going to get the double play to win the game. What an end!
When I went to the London series last year, I thought winning that last game against the Phillies was very important. And as you look back, you can see obviously that was a watershed moment for that team.
It was the turning point. I mean, the way they won that game, you could tell the excitement after the game, that was a big win.
And the New York Mets somehow withstand the Phillies rally, and they win Game 2 in London 6-5.
That was a season-saving win.
So many things fell into place. No one expected Vientos to do what he did, become the player and the hitter that he became.
What up, baby? I think it started to happen after that Dodger series. You just felt it. Like, nobody had to say anything. You just felt it. We were just like, hey, let's come up with something. Let's come up with, when we get a hit, we started doing this. Let's be in the game.
Alonso pulls one over the bag. That's a fair ball going down the line. And it's 7-6 New York in the ninth.
Around May, June, we all started to kind of buy in around this organic OMG thing. We had a meeting where JD talked about we all needed to get back to having fun.
Been on teams that have started off poorly, and the really bad teams start pointing fingers, and the really good teams, the teams that care for each other, to take accountability and say, you know what, we should be better than this. I'm going to be better tomorrow. Can you make the same promise to me? And once you do that, then things will change.
This Met team is fighting. This Met team is good.
We just kind of stayed on that track the rest of the way and ended up being the best team in baseball from that point on.
By midsummer, the 2024 Mets righted their path on the field. And behind the scenes, the front office started mapping their vision for the future.
Well, I actually think it started right at the beginning when, I think Dave and I met, discussed Juan as a possibility when if he became available.
Dave Stearns interview, take one.
This was a player among a host of players that Steve and I discussed when I was talking to him about potentially taking this position.
As Dave and I got to know each other, it's clear that we were aligned in our thinking, and I'm just so excited to have him on board and, to bring on the next chapter of the Mets.
I think Juan Soto has been on all of our radars for a long time, probably starting when he signed as a 16-year-old and immediately began to make his run through professional baseball at an extremely elite level.
Juan Soto!
It's an unusual position where a truly elite player at such a young age became a free agent, and you knew he was going to become a free agent. He turned around a very lucrative contract earlier in his career with the Washington Nationals.
$440 million is allowed to turn down.
He is arguably the best hitter in the game.
We always knew that was in the back of our mind. Certainly didn't know how it would go. Certainly didn't know if he'd sign an extension or who knows. And we certainly had our eye on him very early.
And so from that point on, you knew that eventually the day was going to come where Juan Soto was going to be available to every team in baseball.
Let's talk about a guy. The Juan Soto looming free agency saga continues.
I think in any season, you really begin turning your attention to off-season preparation at some point in August. And so that's probably when our preparation picked up.
As the front office prepared for one of the biggest free agent pursuits in history. Back on the field, the whole organization had their sights on pursuing the postseason as well.
And they get Francisco Lindor to the plate.
I let them be themselves. I knew they were preparing. I knew they were doing everything in their power to go out there and compete.
Swinging, he lines to the left field, a base hit. Francisco Lindor goes the other way, drives in two, and the Mets.
And that's all you could ask as a manager.
He struck him out, and the ball game is over. Diaz locks it down.
You're gonna fail. It's a hard game. You're gonna go through some stretches where it's hard, But if you're doing everything in your power that you need to do to prepare every day to go out there and give your best, you're gonna be in a good spot, and that's what we did.
The team continued with their blueprint, playing with joy and with a never-say-die attitude.
Their resiliency. I mean, I think that's the first term that comes to mind, is that, you know, everybody was counting them out early in the season when they got off to that sluggish start. And then to rebound, and not just rebound, but excel.
And by overcoming the early season adversity,
on the slider, and now it's 3-0.
It set a path for redemption and brought forth new opportunities.
Alvarez swings and he drives one deep left center field. Mullins looks up and it's out of here. Alvarez swings 3-0 and he wins the game for New York.
Everybody was very focused, and we just focus in what is going to happen. We don't worry about the past, we just worry about the present.
It's gone! Put it in the books! The Mets.
The present had the team on a chase for a postseason berth.
It's the most fun I've ever had playing baseball. It's addictive. It makes you want to come back every single day. Like, you don't want these games to end.
Hey, this place is lit. This place is unreal. I love it. I love this shit.
Yeah, I think one of the things we try to do is put customized and individualized videos together for high target free agents and players who we want them to understand what we're about and what we could be about for them. And so we did a great job, and our group internally did a wonderful job putting together a video showing Juan what his future with the Mets could be like. The type of player we think he is, the services we think we can provide, and who we are as an organization, and ultimately why we think he's such a good fit for us.
That one's driven out to left center field and deep. Going back, J-Rod, turning, looking, see ya! He checked the box. He's now homered in every ballpark in baseball. A two-run blast.
In spring training about wanting to homer in every ballpark. Why was that important to you?
I feel that's, it's a great feeling for me. I think, it's so many different ballparks, so many different dimensions. I just want to get all of them checked in, What a best way to go to free agency with all 30 homers, all 30 ballparks, checking my list.
We start today about Juan Soto and his pending free agency.
The looming decision was in the air around town.
He obviously makes so much difference in either lineup that he's going to be in.
Let's talk about the Mets and the amazing run that they were on to try.
But the resounding sound was coming from Queens, as a special bond was forming.
That's who we play for, man. We play for these fans. I wake up every day to feel that energy. I wake up every day to feel that adrenaline. It's so addicting. When you're out there and you can barely feel your body and you're just like so locked in, like it's incredible.
And he smacks it to deep left. That's out of here. And the Mets win the ball.
The energy from the fan base had given the team momentum. But it would take a full team effort to keep pace in the standings.
We generally care about each other. We wanted everybody to succeed.
And he drives one to left and the Mets win the ball game.
That helped us continue to get closer to each other, and I think that separated the group from other teams.
You got guys on this team that play for one another, and I think that that's an important aspect that's often overlooked. Wins and losses are most important, but also that chemistry of guys legitimately wanting to see the guy next to them succeed.
Because that's what really baseball is. I mean, you have great players, you have great pitchers, you have great moments, but really a team has to be solidified in their family atmosphere to achieve great things.
If you've played before and played for a long time, you recognize when things have changed and when things on a team start to become a little magical.
Linsanity! Francisco Lindor ties the game with a ninth-inning home run.
What does the most valuable player look like?
I think he looks like the guy who runs out to shortstop every day for us at 7 o'clock.
You know, Francisco, you've had a lot of monster hits for this team this season. How would you encapsulate how big that swing was for this team?
It was only big because we ended up winning. It's only big because we got the guys going.
When a team gels and comes together, it's not just one player. There's 26 players now on a roster, and everything just kind of came together. It was a complete turnaround.
A spirited September run inches the Mets closer to their postseason dreams.
15-4 now in your last 19 games when you guys have needed to win.
This is playoff baseball. This is what you guys want. Let's go. Let's go, Mets.
However, another hurdle stood in their way. A 3-team tie in the wild card standings led the team to a familiar foe.
One very important victory, a berth in the National League Wild Card Series, and today they close out the regular season with a doubleheader against the Atlanta Braves.
We've gone through all of it. We've pushed through all of it. It's so funny the way our season has gone that we're going back to Atlanta after the season to finish a doubleheader to see if we make it to the playoffs or not.
The last game of the season really was a kind of a look at the season as a whole for us. You know, we were down by a significant amount, and then all of a sudden, like, we just came on.
Nimmo puts a hammer down with a 2-run homer.
It's that old Mike Tyson saying of, like, everybody has a plan until you get hit in the face, and we got hit in the face like plenty of times.
It's a 6-run barrage for the New York Mets in a game that could put them in the postseason.
And we just had guys that it didn't matter. They kept on coming back and they kept on fighting and throwing their punches. I think that was the underlying theme for the guys, was just that never say die attitude and trying to keep fighting until the very end and keep throwing your punches.
Here is Francisco Lindor, go-ahead man at the plate. And a high fly ball, well hit right center. Harris going back, it's on the way, it is gone! Into the Braves bullpen in right center field. Francisco Lindor has an MVP moment.
Games provide moments where it could, like, elevate everyone's heart rate. For Francisco, it doesn't. Plays a premier position day in and day out. He has to be that way. He's such a great leader, and he does so many things for this team. Him being steady, their words carry so much weight because of how they go about it every single day.
And we went through so much adversity. To be able to get that last out in Atlanta, when Lindor gets that ground ball and we finally clinch a playoff spot, that for me was an unbelievable feeling. First-year manager here in New York.
Ground ball, Lindor waits on it, he's got it, and the ball game is over.
Being able to give guys a hug, and you know, it was real, the way it felt. I was just proud of the whole group.
Before the year started, nobody thought we would be in this position. Everyone had an out. And guess what? You guys got together, you guys trusted each other, you had each other's back, you held each other accountable, and here we are.
Williams sets. Here's the pitch. Swinging a fly ball to right field. Pretty well hit. Frelick back at the wall. He jumps. It's gone. He did it. He did it. Pete Alonso with the most memorable home run of his career.
The homer was really special, but I would say the most special part is really celebrating with everybody after the game, because everyone worked so hard throughout the year.
It was a great step to the culture that we want to have here.
You know, ever since 2011, I had been dreaming of being able to bring winning baseball back to New York and be able to be a part of something really special. That was
finally like a stepping stone to where we're trying to get to, and to overcome the obstacles that we overcame during that year in order to get to that place made it even that much sweeter.
A captivating journey will always leave a lasting impression. That's why it's always worth the trip. The victories along the way become building blocks to the next step.
Here's Alvarez. Bouncing ball to the right side. Taylor up with it. Throws to first in time.
And in defeat, it will fuel the next pursuit.
I believe they changed the culture last year. So there are golden moments, special moments when the Mets do well, when you have a successful season. I know Met fans were euphoric. I was.
To make that run in the playoffs, gives everybody, including the organization, confidence that the game plan's right. Now you just need to continue to build on it, expand on it, and take it a little further.
What's your read on what we've learned, if anything, in the Soto sweepstakes?
A superstar in Juan Soto's the big fish.
I do think it's going to come down Mets and Yankees, which is going to be fascinating.
There's free agents, and then there's free agents. And what made Juan Soto's free agency so compelling, his age at 25, 26 years old, puts him in a different category. He's doing stuff that Ted Williams and others did at such an early age. So he could be, historically, one of the best players that ever put cleats on.
A pursuit of this kind is a tremendous collaboration, and clearly you need tremendous ownership support, ownership enthusiasm, ownership persistence to be able to land a player of this caliber on the free agent market.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
I feel like every team has the same opportunities when I'm going to the free agency. I don't want to say anybody has any advantage.
And so as the day came closer and as the time came closer when Juan was ultimately going to be a free agent, obviously those discussions internally increased. We tried to prepare as much as possible.
Juan Soto!
We tried to truly understand who Juan was, both on the field and off the field, what mattered to him in his life, ways that we could appeal to him as an organization, the type of impact that he could potentially have in our team and our organization. We knew that there was one path in our offseason where we would sign Juan Soto, and the offseason was going to revolve around that signing. And then there were other paths in the offseason where Juan would choose to go in a different direction.
The road to excellence takes determination, because chasing greatness is a pursuit that never ends.
So first of all, welcome.